second half tonight overall against the Eagles, and
here. This guy used to be the guy that broadcasts the games.
We missed that.
Why did we downgrade for tonight? What happened?
how about that? And we've got Warrior fans here. It's nice to know that some of the fans still came out on a below zero wind
It
chill
is
night.
a little cool out there, right?
This isn't anything like Jacksonville, Florida, is
No,
it?
not at all. Not at all.
At least it took me until the second half to realize who Ahren Freeman was, and that's because he didn't do a whole lot in the first half. But boy, the second half, you came alive. What was the difference in the halves for you tonight?
Really just coming out and realizing that it's no point in me being on the court if I'm not playing hard. So just came out there, gave it all I got in the second half, came out and got the dunk.
And the one thing, now this is your 10th game at home this year. How do you like playing at the Hellier Center?
Oh, I love playing at the It's been the favorite my favorite spot to play at my entire career so far. So
Excellent.
it's definitely fun playing here.
We'll talk to Coach Plona in a little bit, but Ahren, tell me about the team as the season has gone on. You had the trip to Arizona, which is kind of a team building exercise, I think, and you played well down there according to Coach, and now you come back here and things get serious, right? Tonight's game with Kirkwood, kind of a way to continue to get better with a big game coming up on Saturday night with Southeastern, and you get to experience that for the first time. But for you personally, how do you think the season has gone so far?
I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but I think that we're starting to get it. We're starting to pick it up. It's starting to come along, definitely. Everybody's been on the same goal, and we all have the same focus for the season, so we're coming along pretty well.
What areas, or give me one or two areas where you think you still need to get better to get to where you want to be at the end of the year?
I would say our defense and our transition offense. Just keep working on those two things, and that's pretty much the big game for us.
And
get stops and get buckets after the stops. So
and not coincidentally, those are the two areas that I would say were the difference in the second half. You finally got some stops, turned them into baskets on the other end. And the one thing that I saw about you that impressed me is your ability to run the floor and to get up the floor and to get in position. That's how you get a lot of layups, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Just running the floor and giving my teammates options to feed to, whether they want to go to the rim or pass it, dump it down. So I'm just playing my role.
Coach Plona, would you agree? Defense and getting the stops and then turning them into baskets at the other end?
Yeah,
big
for sure.
In the second half, right?
For sure. Ahren probably knows that, I publicly have and will continue, Coach Pink, in this one to give you a hard time. Ahren probably knows that there is one play that I'm going to give him a hard time about here as we move forward.
Was that maybe the one?
Well, he's done that before. He's done that before. But Ahren has the ability to be one of the better front court players that we've had here. And I think in the second half it showed. And I think if he can continue to do what he just said that he thinks that he needs to do, he can really help our team. I think that he was obviously a major change in the game from the first half to the second half. And he's right. Like when we get stops and we can go, we go. I thought we came out tonight, we'd get a rebound, and we just kind of, sometimes the first half we go the opposite direction for me, and I could just feel all five guys just looking at me like, what should we do? And that right there just makes me go, oh boy, like we're gonna have to wake him up. Here we go. And that gets me a little bit crabby, because we're at our best when we're just playing, when we're just hooping, when we're just trusting each other, when we're just making instinct plays. And yeah, when we do that, there's a couple mistakes here and there, but that's always going to be the case. When we're trying to be perfect and precise, we're not at our strength. And I don't know why sometimes we come out and we don't quite play at the beginning of the game like we need to play when we know it's winning time. Obviously, you want to convince the guys that 40 minutes of the game are winning time. And I thought for the most part in the second half it wasn't perfect, but obviously it was a much better half, and I was happy to see us kind of play more our style and get a win.
And I would say with 40 minutes of Warrior basketball now under my belt that I've seen for the year, that I would just say that the second half it looked like a different team. First half you were patient, maybe too patient at times, and got the ball inside enough times and still weren't able to finish. And the second half, when you had the success, you went on an 8-0 run later. But even before that, I thought that your ability to get out and to make some plays kind of off script and not have to worry about running offensive sets and things like that is when you were at your best.
For sure, and the ball starts moving and different guys touch it. I thought maybe the last 5 minutes of the first half, I just thought it was like, okay, it's my turn. I'm going to go get a shot. And then I'm going to go get a shot. And then I'm going to go get a shot. And we were just standing around watching. And when we get slowed down, we start playing like that, that is when we struggle. So I thought in the second half, it was somebody making a play for somebody else. There's a couple times where, Enoch got shot out of a cannon, and when he goes like that, it's hard to stop him. But other than for those breaks, I thought everybody made a play for somebody else. I think Ahren made the play for Enoch over the top on the end one. Javon made a couple plays for teammates. Braxton made a couple plays for teammates. So for sure that's when we're at our best. And sometimes when, for whatever reason, we feel like we're up against the wall, whether it's the score of the game, whether it's the opponent is ranked number 1 or 2 in the country, we just know we got to do that, and something that's just been a little bit more of a struggle to get us to that point where we can play our best basketball in every moment. So, that's probably the reason for our inconsistency a little bit. But we all know what the problem is, and that's the first part. But now we got to figure out how to consistently play the way that we want to play.
And Ahren, I think too, when sometimes for you the hardest decision is, do I try to be aggressive inside, or do I kick the ball out? Because it's apparent that you've got some guys that can shoot the ball, and so you can set them up. And so as you're more effective in the inside and draw more of the defensive pressure, you can set up Eddie and Davin and the guys like that can make the threes. And so that's kind of a nice situation for you to be in individually and as an offense too, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's more of just a read and react thing. So when I'm out there, it's just try to loosen up, be natural with it, try not to think about it too much, because when I do that, that's when the hesitation comes and it looks hectic on the floor. So try to just stay relaxed and just have fun with it, stay loose.
It's funny, he says think too much. Like, we've been trying to get our guys, like, whatever the first instinct you have, what play to make. Like, if Aaron's dribbling and a guy doubles and he thinks you should back, boom, first play. If it's, okay, I tackle my next bounce, go do that. And sometimes when, we've been trying to figure out, because a lot of the guys are saying we're thinking too much. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means we're thinking about 3 options in the moment. No, you just got to go with whatever instinctually comes first, because in a half a second, the floor is going to be different. The guys are going to be in different spots. It's a never-ending game where the guys change spots. So you have to just do whatever that first instinct to do is. You got to be aggressive and just say, all right, this is what I'm doing. All right, I take one, boom, I'm going. Without hesitation. So we got to continue as coaches to figure out the best way to get our guys to do that.
And in fairness to Ahren too, that I've seen enough games here at the Hellier Center to know the basket is higher at this end than it is the other end. So I think you referenced the play that Ahren, that you thought he played well in the second half except for one play.
If that was the first time he had done that, I would have let it slip. But we're at the point now where maybe it's just some kind of public acknowledgement that the rim has blocked him multiple times will fix that problem.
And you don't have to make them all, you just have to make them at the right time, right?
You're right. You're right about that.
All right. So
Kevin, we got Southeastern on Saturday.
And it's going to be white out.
It's going to be white out. It's funny, the last time
I have a source here that told me that it's going to be white out.
The last time we played Southeastern with fans here, I could have sworn I had to wait 20 minutes to get the game started because you had the microphone at center court and you're talking about this and you're talking about that. Yeah. And now you're back here today. I just don't understand what's going on.
Can't stay away. And I tell you, it's tantalizing to think about Saturday night Southeastern.
If somehow you're in the middle of the floor with a microphone, Zoe and I are going to walk out there and carry you off.
I'll be with the Warrior faithful, and we'll see how you do against Southeastern. Tell me about the Blackhawks. I got
good pivot there.
I got a little scouting report from their head coach before Christmas, and so I want to see if it meshes with what you think about Southeastern, the team they'll bring in here on Saturday night.
Well, it's probably going to be different because I don't think any coach would say, "Oh yeah, my team is really good," but his team is really good. They have a front court kid named Josiah West that was on the team last year, and he was a very, very good player last year. He's an elite player this year. Like, his instincts are so good. What Ahren and I were just talking about, he is outstanding at. He's had 20-point, 20-rebound games. He is quick twitch. He goes and gets loose balls, rebounds way above the rim. He's a good passer. Like, he's a problem. He is a problem. He is a very, very good player. They've added a guard named Bailey who really shoots the ball. They shoot the ball better than they have in probably the last 3 to 4 years. They can hit you from a lot of different angles. They play with pressure. They're deep. Shoot, they have a kid last year who was an All-American for them that's probably their 6th or 7th leading scorer right now. And he's a better player than that. I mean, I'm not insulting, what he's doing. I mean, my point is they probably have 9 guys that could lead you in scoring any given night. So they match us athletically. They match us size-wise. They're 16-2. They're confident. They've had a really good year, So obviously, just like every game with those guys, it's a 40-minute battle, and we should expect nothing less on Saturday.
And West is a big guy?
Yeah, he's
so
6'5", 6'6", but he's a front court, 4'5".
So he's an Ahren Freeman type of player, would you say? Or?
I haven't seen the rim block him at all this year, but other than for that, yes.
But Ahren, in all seriousness, so you know the scouting reporter, a little bit of it. You'll know a lot more in the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Does that get you more excited about going into a game when you go against a player that has the accolades that he has and has a reputation that he does?
Yeah, definitely, because, it goes to show you can go out there and show out the work that you've been putting in and show that whoever steps in front of you, is just another person with the jersey on. Mm-hmm. So you got to go and attack them just like how they're attacking you.
And the reality is that you don't always have, a real good post player to go against. Now tonight, Brinkmeyer obviously for Kirkwood is one of the better players in the state. But when that challenge does present itself, like it will Saturday night, that you get a little more juice and get a little more excited to play, right?
Yeah, definitely. And also just because we know the intensity and the importance of that game that's coming up. So we're all going to be juiced up and ready to play.
How long had you been on campus before you heard about the Indian Hills Southeastern rivalry?
Like 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody didn't do their job then, because usually that's the first day is that you learn that.
Yeah.
And then the second day you start hearing from
We have to
Coach Plona.
we got to go over COVID rules now. It's a different world since the last time you were here.
Right.
So we've got to cover all the COVID stuff on day one.
All right. But seriously, a good effort tonight.
Appreciate
good game to come away with a victory against a good Kirkwood team. They were number one for a month to start the season.
Yeah, they're a very good team, and they've had to find themselves a little bit too. They have a guard named Noah King that was on their team last year that can really shoot the ball, and I think they were probably planning on him being about their leading scorer. So with him out, they've had to change the way they play a little bit, and they've had to figure out role definition and stuff like that. But they're moving in the right direction, and I would think they have just as good of a chance as anybody to make the national tournament at their level.
So what do you do from a coaching standpoint from now until Saturday night to get this team ready?
Well, we prepare ourselves more than we'll watch the other team. It's with this group, just being the best versions of ourselves has always been the key. We'll touch on a couple strengths that they have, and maybe a couple of their bread and butter type actions or plays or tendencies that they'll want to do. And we'll make sure that our guys are aware of how, if they win the game, what it will look like. But we got to spend a lot of time focusing on trying to do what we want to do, and making sure that, tonight, in the first half, we wanted Kirkwood to score over us. We didn't want to let them get angles and get around us. And we did a poor job at that in the first 10 minutes of the game, and then that puts you behind. So, we'll come up with a couple simple things that, that we kind of try to hit with our guys. And honestly, when we're able to do that in the first 5 to 10 minutes, we've been very successful all year. And when we struggle in the first 5 to 10 minutes, then we face these uphill battles. And tonight, very, very happy to be able to come out with a win and to be able to make the plays needed against a very good basketball team. But obviously, it's been about 50-50 for us when we do fall on that side. So hopefully we're making progress. At the same time, we've been a very successful team when we can really, from the start, impose our will on them. We know that physically Southeastern will always try to impose their will on us. So, we just kind of had that type of game versus Salt Lake, and hopefully we learned some things from it. And honestly, we had the type of game versus New Mexico, and we imposed our will to a level that you wouldn't be able to tell that it was that type of game because, man, we did really jump them from the start. So I just think that we want to make sure that with this group, we spend a lot of time watching what we do when we're successful because we need to try to emulate that. Hey guys, when we look good, this is what we do. And then we all know it, but we got to make sure kind of in those moments that we're comfortable and we know our spots and are able to do that on Saturday.
Well, having seen a few Indian Hills Southeastern games in my time here at Indian Hills, I can tell you that the Warrior faithful, many of whom are here tonight, it'll be a fun night on Saturday night, won't it?
For sure.
It's always fun when Southeastern comes here, and it sounds like this year will be no different. And so best of luck to the Warriors and congratulations on the victory tonight. Thanks to Ahren. Thanks to Hank for the comments. And
good to see you, Kevin.
Yeah,
I remember our first day when I was a head coach here, and you just wouldn't stop throwing jabs my direction. So I think I came back with about maybe 1/4 of the amount of jabs back your direction.
So you're
but
saying I
obviously,
have to come back and
but
so we can get
obviously,
even?
we appreciate you filling in tonight and good to
No
see
problem. And we hope Russ recovers well, recuperates, and gets back here for Saturday
Absolutely.
night on Go Hills TV. I want to thank Titus and Jimmy and Greta and all of the people who were involved in these telecasts and do such a great job.
you. They
all
did a great
season long.
job carrying you tonight.
They
I
did
know
a-
that.
They did a great job. They enjoyed being in Arizona. They wish that they had been able to stay a little bit longer, but they said they would have missed the below zero wind chills here. And so thanks to them for their work on tonight's broadcast and all season long for the great job that they do to bring Warrior basketball to people all over the country, all over the world, really. So,
Absolutely. Honestly, as you say that, Kevin, I'm sure you know it's, we hear nationally about just the feed from Go Hills TV and how just the clarity of the games, the video, the audio, and things like that. It's when Division I coaches are watching, sometimes I think we have less Division I coaches in the gym because they can watch the game just like they'd be watching a live scout game. But no, it really helps us, and it's been a huge addition to our program. So Jimmy and Titus and Russ and these guys do a great job. So you're dead on with that.
absolutely. And that'll do it on our coverage of Indian Hills basketball on this Wednesday night, the first home night of the first home game of the second half of the season. Don't forget Whiteout on Saturday night. And
Go
there we go. I haven't forgotten that part of it. So. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody, and again, tune in on Saturday night, 7 o'clock tip time, pregame at 6:45 here on Go Hills TV, powered by JBS. This is Kevin Pink. Good night from the Hellier Center.